Um, and we are live, everyone. Welcome back. It's been a while since we did this show. We're continuing on. This is episode 7, and we're going to be talking about ISO Jurassic World Dominion. We're talking about the 4K edition, and we're going to also talk about the theatrical version of the film
Mhm.
that came out in theaters. I only saw the theatrical version, and you also saw the theatrical version, but you
Right.
also picked up the 4K version. So
With
we're
the
also going to,
with the extended cut on it. Yeah, that's gonna
yeah.
be fun.
Yeah. But first, before we get into that, we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna talk about some news that came out, and for a film or a franchise that's been long running, and it's Friday 13th. So Friday 13th has some news. They announced that there's a new movie coming out. It's official. It seems like the person who has the rights to the older Jason, Sean S. Cunningham, the original director and producer, it's going to move forward with LeBron James. He's also LeBron James is going to produce. Sean S. Cunningham's going to co-produce, executive produce,
That's
possibly
it, bro.
direct. Yeah, we don't, we don't, I'm not too sure on what Sean Cunningham's role is in
Uh-huh.
this new film, but he's involved, and it seems like we're going to get like some sort of like, I don't know, reboot, sequel. We don't know. We're just speculating at this point.
Mhm.
I like the remake. I thought it was a cool remake with
Did
it's Friday 13th. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Cunningham have anything to do with the remake, producing it or
Yes.
anything like that? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
he produced it. Yeah. He produced the first one and the Jason Goes to Hell, which is 9, and Jason X, and then Freddy versus Jason, and then Friday 13th the remake. Uh, it's interesting because he after part one he didn't produce or direct for a while on the
Uh-huh.
Friday movies because he hated the Jason character. He didn't like it. Like he didn't like the sack head. He didn't like the hockey mask.
Uh-huh.
So it took him a while to, I guess, come around to produce another Friday movie, and that
I mean
was
that
the yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
no, that's funny because what got him to come back to the Jason franchise was the opportunity to kill Jason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill this guy right here in
Yeah,
this movie.
and then he comes back for Jason X, right? Which
Yeah.
everybody agrees is like the dumbest of the movies. So it's like he gets to make his movies, and he's like, okay, if I can kill that Jason kid, I'll come back. And then it's like, okay, if I can make fun of that fucking Jason kid's movies, I'll come back.
Yeah,
And then he's like, okay, if I can start all over again with the reboot, I'll come back.
yeah, yeah. Even in I think he had a hand in Freddy
uh-huh.
vs. Jason of the guy who played Jason, Kane Hodder, not coming back, and he was supportive with the director on like making Jason more like a dumb character. Like he's not, he's always following orders. And whereas like with the older Jasons, like not just Kane Hodder, but like part 2, part 3, part 4, Jason was, he wasn't
Yeah,
really dumb. He was like, he was pretty smart when it comes to stalking and killing people, and like chasing and all that. And he was in his own mindset. He was controlling himself. So I think he had a hand in that, and also in Freddy versus Jason. And yeah, there's something going on with him and his relationship with that character.
yeah,
Because it wasn't supposed to be a franchise. He was a one and done. And then when they offered him to do a part 2, he wanted to do something, tell a different story. He wanted
hmm
to tell like a different slasher, film that takes place on Friday 13th. Um, and but then they're like, no, let's just continue with this Jason character. And he's like, what? This does not make any sense. How the
yeah,
fuck is this? How are we continuing with this character and when he drowned? You know
right,
what I'm saying? It's like it's a weird like, and I can understand his frustration at first, when it comes to that type of continuation, because who wouldn't, right? It's like, how does
right.
that make sense? But obviously, it turned into a franchise, a huge franchise in horror, and we got the most iconic horror villain of all time, right next to Michael, right next to Freddy, Chucky, Candyman. Like he's up
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah,
So
and I think it's funny because clearly the first Jason movie is about a mother, right? Like the mother of the bullied child who's getting revenge on all the people who she thinks let like her kid get bullied or killed and shit like that. And like And it's just weird because it's funny how sometimes directors and writers, they put all their heart and soul into this, into whatever, like this movie, and they think they understand what they have, but then sometimes something that they did not expect to happen whatsoever uh changes it, and like even the directors don't understand it, like that's a good example. Or I genuinely believe that, like, uh I don't know how to describe it. I feel like George Lucas, when it comes to Star Wars, didn't really expect people to like the movies for like the fucking lightsabers and the spaceships and all that so much, But that's what
Yeah.
kind of carried it on after that, all the action figures and shit.
Yeah, it's interesting because like even like you look at films like Saw, like it was supposed to be a standalone film. You know, it was originally a short film, and they turned to a feature.
Hmm.
And James Wan and Leigh Whannell, they're like, "Yep, we're done." Wash their hands off, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Yep, we're gonna make a new Saw movie or make another one," and then
Right.
now that's a franchise. So you never know, man. Like some movies, they become really big. A studio, when they see that, they're like, use that as opportunity to, you know, pull in some cash and more cash and more cash. It's just cash cow we use. That's a term we use like for these studios that want to do that.
Yeah. Where
So
cows
it
made out of money.
yeah, and they and that's and the term "money talks" is a perfect example for this because a lot of studios, they don't listen to the fans or the critics. They do what they can to make sure they make their money back. And when a movie makes so much money, like they follow the movie and they make another one. So it's a perfect example. Look at Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. It's just those are perfect examples.
Right. So what do you like? For me, it's gonna be what's interesting about all that is that if he was he was a producer and the director of the first movie, right?
Yeah, he was just
Ron
producer and
Cunningham,
director, yeah.
yeah. So I think it's gonna be interesting to kind of see, now that he has more control over everything, to see like what he always wanted to do with the series moving forward.
Yeah. It'd be interesting, yeah, to see what he does because it's I wouldn't like I don't know how appreciative he is now with the Jason character. I'm not too
Right.
sure because
Mhm.
it's been about I don't know how many years it's been since he really hated the character. I don't know what his thoughts are on it now. Does he have a different perspective on it? Like, is he gonna do something a little different with the character that he would like to do? We don't really know. Maybe he'll shit on it again.
Right,
He'll
right,
make
right.
a sequel to Jason X. Who knows? Like, he'll
Multiverse Jason, bro. Like
yeah,
multiverse are the big trend these days.
yeah, and it could be like a time travel movie. It could be something, man. Like
Do you
he'll
think
do
you think you
whatever he
would go that
wants.
crazy? You think they go that crazy? That'd be fun. That would be fun if they did.
Yeah.
Can you
This was yeah, that's all I
Oh,
see. Like if it were to be a sequel to Jason X, that's the way I see it. It's like it
right,
has to be time travel, right? Because it's in the future, and they have to defeat Jason somehow. So in the beginning of the movie, they just send him back to Crystal Lake, the original Crystal Lake, and he's killing people there. And then he meets his older self or his younger self, like say like part 3 Jason or part 4 Jason,
right.
and he's fighting his own self. Because technically Jason doesn't even know, like he doesn't care like who he kills, or he's indiscriminate. So when he sees himself, he doesn't see himself. He sees another victim, and
That would
that's
be fucking
yeah.
that would be so really existential, dude. I like that though. Wait, so you said earlier that he has the rights to the mother character too, right?
No, no, no. His writer, the guy who wrote the first one,
Okay,
he
so he
only
has
has
the rights to the
yeah,
mother character.
yeah, he only has the rights to the mother and the younger Jason. So,
Okay.
uh,
Well, that's
I don't
good. Well,
know. Yeah,
that's got to be frustrating for Cunningham to some extent, because I'm sure that if he didn't like that where they went with Jason, that he probably would have liked the series to be more about the mother to begin with, right?
yeah, yeah. Because that's how he started. Was with the mother character, and it's probably one of the people say one of the best twists in horror history. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting twist. It's never been done ever again. because it's already been done, and I think like if someone did it again, it'd be like, oh, that it's already been done before, you know. But
Right,
I
right.
kind of liked it. You know? It would been nice if she was like part of the camp, like she was, you know, among the counselors that were there at the camp.
Hmm.
So I would look if they did that at least. But if not, yeah, it was cool to
So you're breaking up a little bit, man.
Oh no, I was just saying that it would have been nice if she was like the cook at the camp,
Oh, okay,
you know?
gotcha. Right on.
Because she was a cook in the other camp, so it would make sense like if she was part of the camp and then she was killing all the counselors and then that's when her head got chopped off that same night, you know? So
Right.
I thought that would have been more effective because nobody would expect the old lady, right?
Mhm. Right, right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way I thought would have been better than what we got in the first one. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I agree with you. Like when it comes to Sean Cunningham's frustration with not using the mother character in some capacity, you know. So but yeah, we'll see what he does. And LeBron James,
What
you know,
what would
he's the
what would it's like
fan.
LeBron James. That's the curveball I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
But okay, but let me ask you because you're a much bigger fan of this. Like, what would be your ideal, like with Sean Cunningham like at the head of all this, and LeBron James? I'm guessing throwing a shit ton of money at this. What would be your ideal for where to go next in the series?
Well, that's a really good question. I have different versions of what they can do. Um, I would like to see them do a sequel to the remake, right?
Yeah.
Because the way it ended is the cliffhanger. Jason comes out of the water. So is he's possibly supernatural, you know? And I think it would be cool if we saw a supernatural running Jason, you know, because
Hmm.
the supernatural zombie Jason we got, he just walks, right? Or speed walks. So I would like
Yeah.
to see a zombie Jason that runs, you know, and it's more smarter than the other Jason, you
Yeah,
know.
like a Jason that hits the gym, gets like a Planet Fitness membership, doesn't skip his leg day at all whatsoever and shit. He's like, I'm gonna kill me some fucking teenagers, bro. You don't even fucking know.
Yeah, exactly. And I that's pretty much like the remake Jason. Like he's very fit. I think he's tall, right? He's taller
Hmm.
than the other Jasons, and he's very agile. Like he acts more like the part two, part three, part four Jason,
Right,
but it's much more scarier because the way he runs at people and moves, you know, it's just it's way scarier to me at least. It's way scarier than the walking Jason, you know.
right,
It's just there's something to it that you can do with that Jason and expand on it in a sequel.
right.
Especially with the underground tunnels, right? Because like
Yeah,
he's
that
going
was the
through the
big secret,
tunnels.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, and because he's going through the tunnels to get to his victim, so that's how he's able to go from one place to another, like appearing out of nowhere. Because like that makes a lot of sense, right?
right.
Because
Yeah.
it's that's the way he's gonna go. A lot of people don't like that, like he's like Hermit Jason, but it's like,
Well, I mean, I
well,
can see that. I can kind of see that to some extent because, like, I think part of the fun of Jason's character is that he does just like he's this big, slow. He looks like he walks slow, but somehow he's always like right around the corner and shit. Which is kind of
yeah,
like one thing that I feel like the Friday the 13th series always really need to change up. Like I feel like Camp Crystal Lake should have been a fat camp. And like every year it's just a bunch of fat kids. And that way you didn't even have to explain why Jason can catch up. They're all fat kids. Like they can't run fast, you know? And a particularly motivated killer can catch up to them very
yeah.
easily. Shit. But but no, I forgot what I was saying. Never mind. But yeah, I just wanted to make that fat camp joke really.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because I, you know, was always like a fan of the human Jason, quote unquote.
Hmm.
Because he, you know, he runs, he takes like he takes pain, like he actually gets injured, and the thing about him, he's still able to move, and continue his killing spree. I think that's pretty cool about him. Don't get me wrong, I like the zombie Jason. Don't get me wrong, I like when he walks and he's unstoppable. Like obviously, no one
Yeah,
can kill him. Nobody can kill him. There's no way to kill him. But in this version of Jason, hopefully, if they do continue as a sequel, I would like to see him be an unstoppable killer, so he can get shot at. He can do, and but you can't stop him because he's unstoppable. But the thing about him is that he can run. He can move fast. He's
yeah,
smarter. He's able to do things more. Instead of just walking around and trying to get to one person to the other, just walking and slow walking, all that. I think it's more scarier with
yeah.
when he runs.
It'd be kind of cool if he it'd be kind of cool if like you have a movie where like Jason is always there, but he never kills anyone, and like the kid, nobody understands what's going on, but he at the end of the movie is able to bring everybody into like one location, and he kills them all at once in like a really fucked up, brutal way. That'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like it's something different, right?
It'd be like a
Like
different type of Jason and shit, like instead of going out and killing everyone like it's like a smart Jason or something. Like if he's gonna be human, let's give him some like human rationale and shit.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm talking about is just give him more like human um understanding, like, oh, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This, like, he's tactical, right? Like he knows
Right.
what he's gonna do because he has a plan, right? This is what he's gonna do. Like he has a I'm not gonna say he has a map, but like he has this like plan thought out, and he's going to execute it. And
Yeah.
if there's backfire, he can take care of it. It's just he has it all planned out. So I would like to see that type of Jason in this new reboot, or whatever
Yeah.
it's gonna be. I like to see it in the snow with
I like
security.
that.
Yeah,
Oh shit, that's dope as fuck.
yeah,
Like Crystal Lake is frozen and all that too.
yeah,
Oh, that'd be
and
badass, dude. Hell yeah.
yeah, and at the end of if we're gonna continue it after the remake, like at the end, they could have just pushed him back in the water, right? And it's years later, and the lake is frozen, and he come when he comes back, he busts through the ice, and
Yeah.
then he takes his mask with him and he puts it on, and then he walks across the ice as it's cracking, and the ice is tearing apart, and he just keeps walking and walk. He doesn't care if he
And
goes back in the
it's
water.
winter time. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
winter
winter.
time. And you know how like every year Friday the 13th falls on like different months?
Yeah,
This year Friday the 13th falls in December while everybody
yeah,
has their Christmas lights up. So you can make a Christmas horror movie.
yeah. It's a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas
That would be
horror
the
film.
sickest shit.
Yeah.
Like the Friday the 13th before Christmas, and it's like Jason. It would be kind of funny too. Like he gets tangled up in like with like a Santa hat or something on, and people just think he's like a drunk guy or something. I don't know. I feel like you can do some fun shit with that.
Yeah. And just I also would like to add like security cameras to the camp. Just so, because if you want to make sense as a storyline, if Jason was killing people at the camp, you know, before, like it makes sense more to have security cameras and
Yeah.
watch everyone's move every time, because you never know, something might happen. It could be an accident or something. Like something can happen, right? And
Right.
like the cameras will catch it, and they'll see like what's going on, and the person in the control room can like be like, hey, just there's something's going on here, like you should check it out, like sending security, because there's security there as well, so they're going to check it out.
Right.
So it would make more sense if it's more fortified than it was before, because we all know like some random killer is going to come in, start killing, because we're going to be more cautious this time.
There's a lot of interesting directions you could take. I mean, I feel for like the people who create these sorts of like franchises, they probably and the studios kind of like hijack them and do whatever the fuck they want with them. Like, yeah, I'd imagine it's probably frustrating for them to see like them do all this shit for profit while they're probably in the back being like thinking of some genuinely creative and cool ideas and directions to go with it. So yeah, I mean it's always it's gonna be fun and interesting regardless to see where the original creator takes it all. Just because he is the original creator and he probably has some he's probably been thinking for years, decades now about really cool directions to take everything. So it's gonna be interesting no matter what.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited. I want to see what they do. Everyone's on the Michael train, for good reason, but yeah, but people start to get more cocky now. Like Halloween ends is around the corner, and they're like, "Yeah, it's Michael's season, man. It's Michael's
Yeah.
time, man. It's decade." And it's like, "Oh wait, I'm over here at the side, like, you know, don't leave out Jason.
Right, right,
Don't
right.
leave Jason out. Like he's coming soon." So
He's getting his own modern reboot soon.
yeah, and he's gonna come back into the fold, and everyone's gonna be on the Jason train, and then Freddy's gonna come back, and everyone's gonna be on the Freddy train, and you know, who
Just
knows what else
cycle that
comes
shit
back?
out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's interesting because like one of the benefits of sort of franchise thinking and trilogy thinking and all that is that when people come back with something like I feel like they think bigger than they used to instead of just like one movie and all that. Like they think of a sort usually like a trilogy, if nothing else, and shit. So I mean, hopefully, like he'll have a sort of large narrative that he's trying to tell, or it'll be something. I think it's interesting for let's face it, Friday the 13th has the reputation for being like the dumbest of all the mainstream slasher movies, or um,
it's
but
cheesy, it's
yeah,
campy.
it's cheesy. It's camp. Like Halloween is like serious horror. Freddy is like serious, like like I guess like high concept horror, but like Jason's always been it's ass tits and blood, man. Like that's all it is. It's great
Yeah,
gore effects. It's a good showcase for makeup and gore and stuff like that. I think it would be interesting. I'm not saying that I want like an elevated fucking quote unquote elevated horror Jason, but I think it would be cool to bring in someone that has like a greater vision with something like that's this low class and all that, you know?
yeah, it's interesting because I was starting to watch Friday 13 fan films. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them out there, and they all do. Some of them do different stuff, but most of them are the same. Like it's always a bunch of people going to a camp or a forest, and Jason's there killing people with all these cool kills. And I
Yeah,
understand the love behind that. A lot of people they can do that all. They love that all day. They'll watch all the Friday movies that have that, and they'll love it, and they wouldn't mind seeing a new Friday that has that, right?
yeah.
That's all they care about, you know. When you look at Jason Goes to Hell, or you know, that film tried to do something different, right? Like it was
Mm-hmm.
Jason, he blows up, he has to jump
The
from body
spirit
to
goes into
body.
different bodies and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and everyone didn't like that because they say, quote unquote, it's not a Friday 13 film. There's no Jason, there's no ass tits blood, there's no kill. Like, and I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. You want that, but sometimes when you make more movies, you gotta go outside the box. You gotta
yeah.
do something different. And so don't be coming and blaming people. You should be blaming yourselves technically, because you
Right.
you
Yeah.
all wanted the more Friday films.
Yeah, well that's the thing, man. Like that's why the for in my personal opinion, like artists shouldn't listen to their fans. They should be appreciative, they should be nice to them, but they shouldn't listen to what they want because like if the fans were able to like if they were smart enough and talented enough to like make their own Friday the 13th and all that, they would, you know,
Yeah,
but they're not filmmakers, they're not writers, they're not producers, they're not all this stuff. So when you're the creator of all that, it's better to just trust your gut and kind of listen to what you think is best, what you think is most interesting, because ultimately, if you say if like you listen to your audience and they said, yeah, we want more blood, and then you fucking give them a blood shit ton of blood in the movie, they're all gonna come back and say, well, that was just too much blood. There's gotta be more to your movie than that. Like that's what always ends
yeah,
up happening. That's what happened with the episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, right?
yeah,
Like Last Jedi came out, did a bunch of shit, and then Disney was like, "Oh fuck, let's undo all that in the ninth movie." And like, say what you will about 8 or 9, like everybody remembers the Last Jedi. Nobody remembers Rise of Sky. Nobody remembers what the fuck happens in that movie. You know,
Yeah.
because like at the very least, even if you make a divisive or bad entry into a franchise and all that, at least if you follow your heart and listen to what your natural curiosity and all that tells you, if nothing else, you'll make something unique that no one's gonna forget, and that's a lot better than making something that like is trying to make you happy and nobody fucking remembers it like the next day, like with Rise of Skywalker and shit. So yeah, and you know, and I think that's sort of what Cunningham was probably trying to do with Jason Goes to Hell. He probably saw everybody making the same Friday the 13th movie over and over, and he got the reins handed back to him. He said, you know what? Let's fucking go. Let's do some weird shit, you know?
Mhm.
Let's play with the formula. And yeah, I feel you, dude. I feel like we need like people like even if you don't like something, you need to appreciate what it does artistically sometimes, you know?
I totally agree, man. Like Jason Goes, it's one of my favorite Friday 13 films because I
Hmm.
appreciate what they're doing and the art they were trying to, to tell, the story they were trying to
Yeah.
tell. They were trying to tell like a story of Jason where it's like the Jason we never seen before. It's like, what is Jason? Like, what is he? Like, how is he able to take bullets? How is he able to, crush people? How is he like? What makes Jason what he is? And so
Yeah.
Jason Goes to Hell explains that. Like, oh yeah, he's a demon. Like he's when he blows up, if he does blow up, his last resort to survival is to have to jump from body to body in order
Right.
to get to his relative in order to be reborn. So
Hmm.
that's an interesting story to tell about Jason because it's something that it's like one of those sides we never see of Jason. It's like something that's been hidden for the lot past movies.
Yeah.
It's always we
Because
always see Jason, and it's
right.
like he's just killing, killing, killing in his normal form, and we never know the inside of Jason. So that's something I like about Jason Goes to Hell. It explains that.
Yeah, because Jason is such a mysterious character. Like I really liked in Freddy versus Jason, where we get a peek at what Jason's like subconscious, what his dreams are. And it makes him such a more interesting character, like overall, to like know that he's this big bulking guy, but in his dreams, he's like this little shriveled up little kid, you know, who's like crying under the fucking bench or whatever. That kind of shit's interesting, and I bet the guy who created that character has a lot to say about what to explore with them, you know?
Yeah, because he was there from the beginning. He knows a lot about the young Jason character more than the older Jason character. So I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to connect the younger Jason from the first one to the older Jason
Hmm.
that we all know and love. So he's trying to like say like, hey, this is Jason from part one. This is
Yeah.
him, but he just looks different, He's more bulkier, he has a hockey mask, he's killing people, but he's the Jason that you know from part one in the end,
Yeah.
it's just that the older Jason we know, he's not the he's not the same Jason we know in part one, but he still is the same Jason in some
Hmm.
sort of way
Yeah.
because he still has a subconscious, in some capacity, So they're just trying to connect the first one. They don't want to lose the sight of the first one. There's
Hmm.
a reason why the first movie is called it's Friday the 13th, for God's sake. It's Friday 13th. It's
Yeah.
called Friday 13th. And so if it weren't for Friday 13th, we wouldn't have those sequels. So we
Hmm.
got to appreciate the first one at least, and show some respect to it in some capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that
Even
would
though
the
yeah, I'm sorry.
oh, no, go ahead, go ahead, go
Uh,
ahead.
I was gonna say, even though I personally don't like the director and producer, I met him at a LA Comic Con. He was doing signings and he was being really rude to me. So I personally don't like him, but I did
Sorry to
like
hear that, man.
yeah, I don't like it, but I did like the art he created. So I
Yeah.
separate the art from the artist.
Mhm.
So I do appreciate the first movie and what it did for the Friday 13 franchise in a whole
Yeah.
because it started it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're still making Friday the 13th movies now. Clearly, that guy with his movie all those years ago, he did something. He tapped into something, you know, that was able to create this long-standing thing, and always, and that guy is gonna have the best stories to tell in this universe. So yeah, dude, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see where it all goes from here.
Yeah, it's we'll see what they do with it. I'm excited to see what they do with Freddy. I'm excited to see what they do with, um, there's so many films in the 80s, 90s that you can do a direct sequel. Like there's a film called The Burning, that was in the 80s. It was directed and produced by the Weinsteins, but it was a good film. I actually liked it. It
Hmm.
was it was like the killer was different. Um, he used scissors, instead of machete. He's burnt victim, but
Okay.
he acts more like Jason. I feel like you can do direct sequels to movie like that, you know, um, there's a film called Happy Birthday to Me. Like, there's a bunch of these slasher horror films that you can do direct sequels to. You don't have to just do it a sequel to the most iconic franchises of all time, you know?
Right.
I would like to see more of those.
Yeah, I like that a lot of I'm seeing more people say this than ever. But we shouldn't be remaking classic movies. We shouldn't be rebooting classic movies. We should be remaking and rebooting bad movies with really good ideas. you know,
Yeah,
and giving someone else an idea to make those ideas better and make those movies as good as they could have been.
yeah. Because there's a lot of, especially in the 80s, there's a lot of like there's a lot of things in movies that don't apply today. There's homosexual stuff, there's racist stuff, like
Hmm.
there's stuff in the movie, especially in Friday 13th, like there's some of that there, and it wouldn't fly today, but what they can do is they can adapt it to modern times in a way where it's like, hey, that was before, now it's modern times, it's
Yeah.
this is what the modern times is like, showing like, hey, all of it's anymore. No, it's a
Oh,
transition from
yeah.
it's been years, so it's a different time.
Yeah. Hold on. You're breaking up a bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and just refresh my browser, see if that fixes. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see if that fixed it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear
okay.
you.
So yeah, I was saying that it's like I said, like it's been years. It's not the 80s. It's like say the 2020s. It's a different time. And
Yeah.
it's different. So you can always say like I don't like when movies say present day because it's like away from the times.
The
It's just like
timelessness of it. Right.
yeah. So I would like to see like say a sequel to The Burning. It's the 2029 or something. It states it's 2029. It's not present day. It's
Hmm.
2029 type of thing. And we all know it's a different time. It's different when it comes to culture. You know comes to gays. Transsexuals. Like it's a whole new era.
Right.
So it's what makes it easier for the audience to understand this is the time period we're in. So it's just instead of just saying present day, so we assume like, oh, okay, what does that mean? Like, oh, it's like, oh, today where it's like transsexuals are not allowed to be transsexuals anymore. Like,
Yeah, it's always weird when that shit happens, right? Like I just watched Southland Tales, the Richard Kelly movie, and it takes place in the movie came out in 2006, but it takes place in 2008. And it's a wacky movie, dude. We'll talk about that movie sometime. But it is weird,
okay,
like when you're watching a movie, because like you really can't win, in my opinion. If you do the present day thing, like all you're gonna be thinking is about how like it's not present day because of this and that and this and that. But also if you say specifically what year it is and like we're past that year, then it's always going to be the conversation is going to be like, well, that didn't happen. I mean, famously with 2001, you know, we're not living that we're not living that life now, let alone 21 years ago. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing about time periods is I was watching a film called Once Bitten with
Hmm.
Jim Carrey, and there was this there was a scene where he was bitten by a vampire, but it's a different type of retelling of a vampire story.
Hmm.
You still have the day and night cycle type of thing where it's like, you know, uh, sleeps at night because he's nighttime is like daytime for them, right?
Hmm.
They drink blood, have to survive. But the difference is like this countess, this lady head of the vampires, she has to bite him 3 times on the hip, like below the pelvis. I don't want to say. I'm gonna get demonetized. No, I'm just like. So on the leg, pretty much. I
Yeah.
will just say, um, 3 times in order for him to become a vampire, so she can become young again. And that's the story.
Okay.
There's a scene in the film where the two friends are looking under. You trying to look at his private parts, trying to
Yeah.
see where it's been, and it was funny. And then I still I know it's like I know it's fucked up, but like they're in the showers and then they grab him and they try to find where it's at, and they're holding him pretty much hostage. And then the guy comes around. It's
Let
like,
me see your
"Heck,
dick, dude.
no, but like the guy turns around and he was like, "Facts in the shower, facts in the shower," and then they all out. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
And
weird premise, man. That's funny as fuck, though.
then yeah, but that's an example of just like the times. It's like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, gay people were more like, they're it was the 80s. They're starting to come out, and but still people were still like kind of homosexual in a
which is
way.
kind of weird to think about because like the
Yeah.
biggest genre of the 80s was hair metal. And it's literally like dudes with makeup and hair and like spandex,
Yeah.
going, wow, I like strip clubs. Yow, yeah, yeah. Strip clubs, ass. Yeah. 55. Whoa.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, it's an interesting time period, but obviously now gays are more out, they're more, accepted, even though it doesn't seem like it because of the internet. The internet's
Right.
always, being weird. But obviously when I'm going out, I'm working on a movie set or I'm going out, hanging out with a friend, I'm always seeing gay people,
Mhm.
I'm always seeing, and they're cool, I don't judge people by who they are. I just judge people by their character, that they're nice, they're
Right.
respectful,
Mhm.
so that's the way I was seeing it, and I think it's cool that there are more gay people that are out there,
Yeah.
because I have this I was on set and there's this guy, he's gay and he's really funny.
Mhm.
He's not a comedian, but I told him like you should do comedy, man. Like you're funny
Yeah.
as hell. Um it's just because of the way he was talking and telling funny stories. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool that like everyone's coming out now, like they're proud of who they are, and they just don't care about what other people think of them.
Yeah.
Even though
It's
like
hard and this unfortunately is not easy for everybody to do that everywhere.
yeah,
But fortunately, we live in California where things like that are cool. And frankly, like I think California, we have a reputation for being like chill ass people and shit. It's like, yeah, we're pretty chill because like we don't freak out when we see gay people existing. It's like, oh hey, there goes Steve. He's probably gonna go suck a dick. All right, bro. You suck that dick, Steve. I bet he's gonna have the time of his life today, bro.
Just- no, dude, I'm telling you, like
He's just out there sucking his best life, dude.
it's funny. Yeah, that's how we Californians roll, man.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
That's what we do, man. We're cool like that. And like I was talking to this one guy, he's from Texas. Like he told me something like, "Do you know what this? There's this burger place that is known in Texas. You ever heard of this?" And I'm like, "No,
Whataburger?
huh?
Whataburger?
I think that's what it's called."
Yeah, I've heard a
And
lot
I
about
I never knew what that was because obviously a lot of states like we have our own like franchises, right? Like obviously
Mhm.
McDonald's is everywhere. Um, but there's always local like family franchises that we don't know about. Like in Texas, I didn't know that was a thing in Texas. Like that's something in California. I think In and Out
Yeah,
is
that's
a
our big
known
one.
thing because I just
Mhm.
found out that because I was talking to a buddy of mine, friend of mine, and he was telling me about, did you know that like In and Out is a family franchise? Like, did you know that it's mainly on the West Coast, like California, possibly Oregon, all that, and
Yeah, I think the
California.
furthest yeah, I think the furthest east it goes is like there's like 2 or 3 in Utah or something.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I was like, wait, what? I did not know. I thought it was McDonald's type of franchise. Like, nope,
Mhm.
that's that type of franchise, man. It's mostly in the West Coast. I'm like, wow, man, I didn't know that. So it's like it's interesting, like how like just a lot of things we don't know about every state. Yeah,
Yeah,
we know the names of the states. We know kind of like what the weather is like. Deserts like Nevada, like in Arizona and all that. Like we know
yeah.
there's deserts, but like we just don't know the culture of the states.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just interesting.
culture changes fucking every town, dude, every city and shit. Like every town has its own vibe, has its own culture and shit. Like Merced, I fucking love Merced because that's like between that's like a small town that's like almost on the cusp of being a city. So it's like doing all that city shit, even though it's just a small town. Like that's why I like going out there.
Mm.
And then like in downtown Merced, it's just like a cool ass spot. Whether you're there in the daytime or in the nighttime, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, it feels like like you're right. It does feel like a city like place like especially downtown.
Mhm.
Like when I'm going, like there's a theater down, like not the Regal Theater, but like
The Manger
the main
or
theater.
the art Calamaggio, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Like when I'm walking around there, it feels like, Bakersfield. It feels like a city, man. It feels
Yeah.
like I'm walking through a city, but really you're
Yeah.
you're kind of not, but you kind of are. It is starting to expand. You
Yeah,
look at
exactly.
it.
And not just that, but like it looks more like a city. Like that new hotel, the Tioga they
Yeah,
remodeled,
yeah, yeah.
it looks
The
bomb.
Toyota. Yeah, I saw it. I was always go past and I see they're building a hotel and then I think there was guys out front and it looked like it was a hotel in a city, man.
Yeah,
It was
it
fun.
looked like the fucking the what is it? The Chateau Marmont in fucking LA. It looks really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I'm starting to like I don't know what the mayor Merced is doing, but
Mhm.
doing a pretty good job expanding, and trying to like put money into the city and try to do something, with the city.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. Fortunately, I moved out, so I'm out here in the desert in Victorville, where
Yeah.
there's not really much out here. I have to go into the Los Angeles area. That takes me about 45 minutes to go. So obviously, all like Riverside, San Bernardino,
Yeah.
you know, Pasadena, like obviously there's just it's a big place with a bunch of things to do. So yeah, yeah, I agree with you, man. Like Merced, Fresno, stuff like that.
Fresno,
Central
dude,
Valley has some
honestly,
good
yeah,
places.
I agree, dude. Like we get a lot of shit out here for being the valley, but I've lived in different parts of the valley. Like fucking Fresno's the shit, dude. I don't care who you are. Like if you spend a weekend in Fresno and like actually go to the Tower District and go to River Park and go to all the nice places, dude.
Clovis.
Yeah, Clovis, it's a good fucking time, man. It's a good time. But no, yeah. Funny enough, Lindsay and I we're trying to figure out where we're gonna move next year, and it's either Merced or Fresno for us. So yeah, that should be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, no, it's amazing because I honestly I would suggest Fresno because that's where the film scene's at. A lot
Yeah,
of it because there's actors, a lot of actors there that are willing to come out and help out, and crew there willing to help out. It's
C-Mac.
amazing. Yeah, C-Mac. Dude, I still have a membership with them. I don't live there anymore. So
Yeah, dude. I
I
was
miss the
living there a few
college.
years ago too, but like I never did any of my own stuff there, you know. But I took a couple classes out there and shit. That place is fucking sick as fuck.
Yeah, it's good. It's they're all for like community filmmakers. Like they help out with a lot. I mean, obviously, like if you're wanting to have staff help you out, like I think you gotta pay for them, like for service. But
Right.
other than that, like you can meet people there in the classes that probably have the same interest in you, and they'll help out with your projects. You help out with their projects. Like it's a collaborative type of thing, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. Ah, man, you know it sucks you're out there, dude, because like I've started to get together a small. I'm in pre-production right now on something. I have a DP. Like yeah, like shit. I got shit happening out here, dude. It's just popping off, man. It's good.
That's good, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm just right now. I'm just making little short films and fan films. I'm actually going to shoot a Friday the 13th fan film coming up. It's interesting because I can't give away the story. Well, I can give away the story, but I can't spoil it because it's a surprise ending.
Give us the plot, the
The
basic.
plot.
Yeah.
um, so the plot is there's a group of friends that are from Los Angeles, California, and they go to Crystal Lake in New Jersey or Connecticut, wherever it's at. They take a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they're going there is because they not only do want to have a good time, but they really, really are obsessed with the Jason Voorhees legend.
Uh huh.
And they want to see for themselves if the ghost stories were true. So, it's regular Friday 13th stuff, but um, the people start getting killed. That's all I gotta say.
Dude, it'd be funny as fuck if you ever seen there where they get pissed off because there's no Uber out there. Like if they're from LA, like that's gotta be like, you know, like they're learning what life is like not when you're in LA and shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, where's the Uber? Where's the DoorDash? Where's that?
I DoorDash that Denny's, you know, it's like a chain restaurant, but whatever. I just want some pancakes. Oh, I don't got service out here. And then Jason comes up to me and says, "Could you believe I don't get service out here?"
I try to get service. I got this new iPhone. Fuck, it's not working.
I barely got service. I'm so pissed. What do you have T-Mobile? And then Jason's like, "What are you saying? I don't know these words. I'm just a simple supernatural killer."
Oh my god, that should be like a freaking scary movie, man. Like
All right.
that's like the movie. It's like Jason's like trying to adapt to the world and like trying to like go on social media and like there's a bunch of mean people on there.
Oh, dude, you could even do like, you know, kids are so fucking like depressed and they're so dark these days. Like a bunch of kids like going to Camp Crystal Lake to film themselves dying for clout. Like that shit would be fucking. That shit would be fucking. And then like he realizes that everybody's using him for like social media, and he gets all sad.
It's like, hey, this is my like they do like it's not really I don't consider it selfie like but like you know how like they show their they grab the camera, they reverse it, and
Yeah.
like they show their faces and you see them holding camera. I can
Uh-huh.
see like one of them like going up to Jason. It's like, hey Jason, say hello to my fans, and Jason looks at the camera and he doesn't say anything and he looks away.
It'd be funny too. Like you see him going, "Hey Jason, what's up? Hey, hit like for whatever, you know." Then like Jason's just looking. Then like he's like, "Come on, bro." Then he just like stops talking, but he flips the camera over, and you see a fucking machete in his fucking skull, and he's just like, hit like and subscribe."
Absolutely,
It's gonna
man.
be funny as fuck, bro.
I like to see that, man. It's you can do a lot of things, man, with the creative stuff for like fan films and
Yeah.
yeah, it could be a comedy type of thing. It's awesome, but obviously, but unfortunately, this one's not. Well, obviously, it has some comedic elements in it, So one guy he plays like a cholo,
Mm-hmm.
and he's with the group of friends, and like the friends are like, dude, like why are you acting like a cholo? Like you're just a fucking town American dude.
Yeah.
But like he's Hispanic, but like he's not like a cholo. He was
Not like
like
a cello, yeah.
yeah, he was raised like a fucking white person. He talks like a white person. He
Yeah.
fucking acts like, but like he's like acting like a cholo, like acting all
Yeah,
gangster.
he puts it on really heavy, like, "Hey, what's up, Bessie? You hear me, fool? Square up, eh?" Like some stupid shit like that. "It's Modelo time, fool." Some stupid shit.
Yeah, he's speaking in that type of voice, and like he's like, they knock on his door, he comes out, and his mom's speaking Spanish to him. He's like, "Why
Get
didn't you
some of the
speak
fucking
Spanish?"
chancla and shit.
Yeah, and then he closes the door. He looks at all of them. He doesn't talk, and then he jumps down from the stairs, and he's like, "Let's roll," in and like,
Vámonos. Vámonos,
"Vámonos."
compadres.
I did. The reason why I have a character like that in this is
Uh-huh.
because I've seen Friday 13 Part 3, and in that film, they had like a hippie dude in it,
Yeah.
and they have a biker gang in it. So I kind of was like, wow, what should I do with this? What type of characters should I put in this fan film that is like just out of this world? Like, oh, let me just put it in a Cholo dude.
Yeah.
And it's just that would be
Yeah, it's good to
funny.
just have fun characters like that sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's just cool. It's cool. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Friday 13th, man. I'm excited. See what they do with it.
Mhm.
And any final thoughts on that? Did you want to say anything about it?
You know what? I'm curious to see where they take it. I think if it sounds like it's gonna be in the right hands. So yeah, let's see where they go with it.
Me too, man. Yeah, I closing statement on this. Yeah, I would like to see what they do. I have my own version of what I want them to do. Obviously, it's their choice. It's their movie. They can do what they want. But like I said, like I mentioned, I like to see what they do with that movie, man.
Yeah.
See what creative stuff they do.
Yeah, it'll be fun as hell for sure, dude. You wanna do some plugs before we get into the main topic here?
Plugs, man. Yeah, yeah. Let's do some plugs. You can start first, man. Yep.
Cool. Yeah. I have a YouTube channel called Pop Counterculture where right now I'm mainly focusing on doing live streams called These People Hate Cinema. It's essentially just like covering channels like the Quartering, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, Geeks and Gamers, World Class Bullshit, all these like toxic, hater ass, fucking like insecure man child shit channels, you know. And yeah, it's basically just tearing down the narrative, like showing how they're manipulating their audience, how these guys are just grifters who thinks, let's face it, probably correctly, that the people who watch their shit are stupid as hell. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun for me. Like it's a fun way to just kind of kick back and I like picking apart criticism and rhetoric and shit. And these guys make it really easy. Like hopefully I'll be able to move up to some more challenging shit. But like right now, I just want to focus on these guys. After today's stream, actually, I'm gonna be starting the first in a series of live streams where I'm gonna replay The Last of Us Part 2, but I'm gonna play it in a way that I think is gonna fix the game so that I like it a little more. I'm not saying I'm gonna love the game because there's like a lot of things that I think are unfixable about it. But one of my biggest complaints is the pacing, and I think I know a way to make the pacing better and make the game better as a whole. And I'm gonna test that hypothesis on my stream. So yeah. I also have music out under Eddie Los Guardos, which is on all major music platforms and on YouTube as well. Yeah, check out my last short film, Unaired Pilot, which is a found footage domestic horror movie. It's about a guy filming a public access TV show, and then he meets a very fucked up couple, and he finds out some really dark shit. And that's all I'll say about that. And yeah, that's it for my plugs. Don, what about you?
Yeah, so you guys can check me out here on Dominic Sinclair Studios, my YouTube channel. You can also check me on Instagram, dominic.sinclair.80 on Instagram. I also have a Facebook. If you want to friend me, I'm on Facebook, Dominic Sinclair, and I post on there as well, like some news, information, just like on my Instagram. And those are my three social media platforms. On my YouTube, I am like I mentioned, I'm planning to shoot a fan film, Friday 13th fan film, and it's gonna be raw footage. I'm only shooting on my phone with a phone stabilizer, with lavalier mics, and that's it, man. It's like
Okay,
I'm doing Roger Corman style, man. Just
good shit.
do whatever I can, man, to make a movie. So that's what I'm gonna do. Um, and yeah, that's those are my plugs, and those are Water's plugs. And if you want, we can get started right now, or did you want to take a break like usual? Like, what should we do?
I'm gonna just power through it.
All right. Well, let's get right into it. This is Jurassic World Dominion territory. We're gonna go fucking spoilers. We're we're gonna spoil the shit out of this. If you haven't
Mhm.
seen Jurassic World Dominion, please go see it. It's out on It's on 4K Blu-ray, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's out on home video. You've been able to rent it for like at least a month now too. So
Yeah, so it's out. You don't have to see it in theaters, so there you go. And yeah, let's get started talking. So I'll start. So I seen it in theaters, and I enjoyed it. I liked the characters, especially the returning cast from the first one. The way they were introduced was great. It was very reminiscent, and it's like nostalgia because they meet up at like one of what's his name,
Alan
uh
Grant's at his
Alan
dig
Grant.
site. Yeah.
Yeah, at his dig site, and he's just continuing digging for fossils. And she comes back, she's like, hey, I need your help. And they kind of talk about the past and all that, and it's a nice cute scene between the two. And then obviously they come together, they meet up with the main cast that we've been following for the past two movies. And Blue gets his son or daughter, they get taken away, and now they have to get her back. And also they have to get the girl
Oh,
back
it's-
yeah, from Fallen Kingdom.
yeah.
uh uh and so that's the mission they're doing, and that's how they meet up with Ellen Grant and
Oh,
the
Summer and Ian.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Ian. He works at this like facility that's run by this guy who has this little project going on with these flies of some sort that take crops and fields, and kind of it's pretty interesting out of the left field, but okay. Just I was, let me just start off. I just thought it was going to continue that story, because I thought the continuation from World and Fallen Kingdom, like that was a good continuation in my personal opinion,
Yeah.
because it was fluent. Whereas in this, it's like out of a left field, you got this guy now. He's just getting crops, and it feels like something you start off with a new trilogy. That's
Right.
what it feels like, and it's just I just don't. I just it didn't work. It didn't click for me. I just
Right.
like wow, like okay, all right. I don't know where. Uh, what I will say is I like the transition when dinosaurs coexisting with humans. I like that kind of aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wanted to know like how many years has it been? How are these dinosaurs coexisting? And then they give a little like brief opening on what's been happening with the dinosaurs and how they're dealing with it. I thought that was cool.
Hmm.
But of course, like I said, the left field like villain plot, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when they all meet up, it was a cool reunion, and a cool like collaboration to try to get the girl back and Blue's son, daughter back, and then take down this experiment of some sort that was created out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so I will say I love the dinosaurs, especially the chase scenes. I love the one of my favorite parts of the movie is the when they go to that, I don't know what it was, it Brazil or whatever. The
Yeah.
when they're
Yeah. The biosyn facility in the Dolomites.
yeah, and they're the guy is being chased by these velociraptors that are controlled by a collar.
Yeah. The
And
laser pointer. Yeah.
yeah, and then like there's these other dinosaurs that get loose and they start attacking everyone, and I thought that was a pretty cool like scene within
Definitely.
itself,
Yeah. Hmm.
because it's like, oh, like like here we go, we're using raptors again, but instead of like it's like on commands, like they're using lasers to like to point out who they're gonna kill, and that's
Yeah.
what I thought that was interesting, and the way that him and his old buddy put that raptor back in that cage was cool. Like it's like it has all those continuing elements of that character
Hmm.
and previous characters, what they did in those movies. But yeah, that's by far one of my favorite scenes in the whole franchise. Um, just it's awesome. It's just
Right.
awesome. So that I don't know, and what else? What
Yeah,
else?
right. Yeah. Well, yeah, no. Well, I mean, okay. So you know how earlier in the episode I made that comment about how like it's funny how sometimes when directors and filmmakers don't understand what people like, what's so great about their own work, you know?
Yeah.
We were talking about how like the guy made this movie about Jason's mom, but what everybody attached to was Jason himself. Another good example is Forrest Gump, the movie. Like you were not nobody was supposed to like Forrest Gump that much. Like like
Mhm.
he was supposed to get you angrier, but like he really Robert Zemeckis didn't expect people to love him so much. And I think a good example of that is Jurassic World Dominion. Because yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the locust thing, dude, because when I was watching the movie, and I've seen it twice now, the first I'll say this, I got the extended cut, and when I watched it in theaters, I could feel the studio cutting the fucking movie down. Like I could tell this shit was cut to shit. This was cut to shit. This was cut to shit. And then I watched the extended cut, and everything I thought was cut to shit was indeed cut to shit for the theatrical version, and that includes the opening scenes. Like I'll give you this. Unfortunately, like the extended cut is way too long. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. Way too long for this movie, right? But one of the things that it really fixes is that the opening 22 minutes, or actually, no, the opening, I showed it to Lindsay yesterday, like the opening 19 minutes are fucking magic, dude. It is like the best the any of the sequels have ever been in terms of like really recreating all like Fallen Kingdom has like the first 10 minutes, which are like a great example of like the horror of like the Jurassic series, right?
Mhm.
Well, this does that, but for like 20 minutes, and it's all about like how fucking awesome these dinosaurs are and how great it is to have that there. And when the movie was giving me that, when it was giving us the dinosaurs living with humans and all the problems it creates and all that. Like that was the movie we wanted to see. That was the movie we all sat down wanting to experience, right?
Mhm.
But Colin Trevorrow, dude, like I respect his intention because in interviews he said the whole Lotus thing came from him trying to pay homage to Michael Crichton, and it makes sense because that is a Michael Crichton ass plot line. Like, let's be real here. He said it was like the last movie, and he wanted to really pay homage to the writer of the books by writing the kind of story he would write. And I think that's really cool, and I think that's really nice of him. You know, what the fuck is that doing in this movie though? You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like, dude, like it's great that he wanted to do that. I think it's awesome that his heart was in the right place, but nobody. I've read the Jurassic Park books. I've read a lot of Michael Crichton books. I'm a fan of Michael Crichton, you know. But like, when I go sit down and watch a Jurassic movie, I just want to watch a Jurassic movie. Like,
Mhm.
just show me another fucking dinosaurs and humans living, and it's a whole thing. Like, I'm glad that they took the dinosaurs out of the park, but it's just so disappointing to me that like we got them on the mainland. There's so much opportunity for conflict and stories and all this thing, and we come up with locusts, dude. Like that is so. I'll never understand that, Dom. I will never
Mhm.
understand that. I don't know. Like to me, like there was like for like days after I saw it, like I would be like sitting at work, fucking welding and shit, and then I'd just be like, Ugh, locusts. What the fuck were they thinking? Like Yeah, that really. If they just would have left that out of the movie, if they would have just cut that all out, this movie would have been so much better, man. So much better than it is. And it's such an easy fix because, like, I don't know how somebody let that get into production. Like, that's such an obviously bad idea, you know?
Yeah, it was just not. I don't know what they were doing, but my thing is instead of doing the whole locust thing, I'd rather have them do the conflict with the humans and the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I would like to see like the whole raptor thing with the lasers. They can keep that in the movie.
Yeah.
So my thing was like, here we can do for the plot. Instead of the locusts, have these people try to cause chaos between the dinosaurs and the humans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make these dinosaurs go attack cities. Make these dinosaurs go attack, towns, villages, everything like
Yeah.
with lasers, and stuff like that. And their reasoning behind it is because they wanted to get rid of the dinosaurs. They want them to go extinct. They want
So
to
they're
get
yeah,
rid of them.
so they're accelerating the problem to get to the solution faster.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
what
that would have been great. Exactly. That would have been so much better than what we got.
yeah. And that would continue the logical story of the dinosaurs escaping from fallen kingdom and going into the world, and like the world has to deal with them. How do we deal with these dinosaurs? What's the solution here? Oh, let's just if you want to kill them, all right, let's just give them a reason to be killed. Let's do
Or
that.
yeah, or like everybody says about this movie how like at the end of Fallen Kingdom there was only like 30 dinosaurs that existed into like out in the world, right?
Mhm.
And like in this movie they're like all over the planet, and I'm like, just make the movie about that. Like, make start the movie off with them trying to track down all the dinosaurs that got away in Fallen Kingdom, right? Have the middle of the movie, the midpoint, be them finally catching the T-Rex, and they think they contained all the dinosaurs, but all of a sudden they find out that Biosyn stole the dinosaurs off the island or whatever, and they created the Giganotosaurus. And there's so much you could have done. There's so much you
Yeah.
could have done with this premise, man. But like, there's a part of me, I think I understand. I have a theory as to why they did the locust thing. Okay, so the Jurassic movies, like, part of what makes them so great is that they are about like the whole. They're all kind of like horror movies in a weird way,
Yeah.
but they're horror movies that start off with like a sense of like wonder, a sense of like, oh shit, like that's a fucking T-Rex, like that, how amazing that feels, you know?
Mhm.
And I think, we live in a, unfortunately, given how Hollywood works and all that shit, we live in a time where like audiences are soft, and studios think audiences are really soft and shit. Like they don't, like, we don't want to, like, they don't want to challenge the audience, they don't want to make the audience think too much, they don't want to make the audience feel bad. So I think what happened was they wrote themselves into a corner because, like, now that the dinosaurs are out in the real world, they're essentially just giant cockroaches. They're a pest, they're bugs. They're a big giant bug problem. And so I think what happened was they were like, look, we can make, if we make a movie where the dinosaurs are the problem, the whole movie is going to be us like killing everybody's favorite dinosaurs, you know? And to them, to the studios who think that audiences are too soft and don't want to be challenged, they're like, well, no, everybody's going to be mad because, we're going to be killing all their favorite dinosaurs and shit. But you know what? Like, and so yeah, they're like, okay, so then we'll do the locust so that we can have that story where like there's a problem and shit, but it's not the dinosaurs, so nothing happens to the dinosaurs, and they're all okay. But dude, like fucking just do it. Just do the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I understood at the end of Fallen Kingdom, like, okay, that's probably the last time we're gonna see them in a positive light. Make the third one a fucking horror movie. Show us how fucking horrifying it is living in the world where like you walk your kids down the street and one of them gets snatched up by a fucking flying pterodactyl. Make that the movie. Just do it. You know, if it's the last movie, supposedly in the last movie in the franchise, fucking go hard, dude. Make them the scariest fucking creatures to have ever walked the earth, and then make them a problem. Because let's face it, the whole point of all these fucking movies, every single last one, is that it's a bad idea to bring dinosaurs back from the dead. Like that's what all these about. Make the last one just like the most like, okay, look, motherfuckers, this is what happens. You know, the fucking world ends because the dinosaurs are fucking taking over everything. Like that would have been such a more, yes, a more darker movie, and not as, and probably not as like light and fun, but at least it would have been a fucking movie, like a memorable thing, you know?
Mhm.
The whole locust thing just reeks of cowardice, and as a symptom of like what we've done to ourselves by like making all these movies that are just constantly rebooting and remaking everything so that nothing is allowed to die and nothing is allowed any finality, you know?
Yeah, I agree, man. It's just I feel like it's just a spit in the face on everybody because especially me and you, like we were expecting to get a story like this, not the locust one. So like
Yeah.
when it comes to that, I feel like they spit on everybody, including us, because ever since the first one, we've been building towards this. We're
Mm-hmm.
building towards this solution, this resolution of the dinosaurs. What do we do with them? You know, how do we coexist? The only thing that makes sense is to kill them, you
Right.
know? Because these dinosaurs, they're gonna cause problems. Hey, look, that Brachiosaurus, the long-necked one, hey, like they're vegetarian, but they're gonna stomp like it. Imagine that dinosaur going through New York,
Yeah.
trying to get to Central Park.
Yeah.
Imagine if he stomps on somebody and crushes them.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
Or
Just show it.
or yeah, or imagine a guy who has like a little patch of like forest land where he grows trees for Christmas, and the brachiosaurus eat all his fucking trees. You know,
And a tree falls on him.
yeah, the trees fall on him. Like there's so much you can fucking do, man. And you know what's the worst part about it, dude? The thing that I find most absolutely unforgivable is that it's called Jurassic World, right? The whole point is that the dinosaurs are out in the world and shit, you know? But then once we leave Malta, once like that airplane takes from Malta and then we go to the mountains, we're just in another park. They're literally they're in a sanctuary. Like it's so stupid. Like we go from the beginning of the movie where dinosaurs are out in the open, you know, and they're out in the real world. And like to me, like, okay, at least that's cool, but then halfway through the movie, like, oh no, so we actually round up most of them, and they're like in this park, and they're not a problem anymore. And I'm like, then why is it called Jurassic World? Just call it Jurassic Sanctuary. No tourists allowed. It's the same shit. You're just making another Jurassic Park, but calling it a sanctuary. It's so stupid. And then what's so dumb, man? What's so dumb is that the whole movie is about like they're out in the world, and even in the end, they're like, yeah, there's some of the dinosaurs are so yeah. And so and so what happens? So the movie starts off with the big question, like, how are we gonna coexist? How are we gonna coexist with the dinosaurs? And the movie spends 2 hours on this locust bullshit, and then at the end, it's like, so then we took a bunch of them and we put them in another park. I mean, in a sanctuary, in a Jurassic sanctuary, not a Jurassic Park. Don't call it that. And then there was a bunch of other dinosaurs out in the world that were still causing problems, but it's gonna be all right. Like, yeah, the end. It's so, it's so dissatisfying, man. It's so like it's such a nothing burger of a movie, man. Like it's the if Fallen Kingdom is the last, dude, it's so weird. Like it's almost a parallel between the Star Wars sequels and the Jurassic World movies. The first Jurassic World movie and the first
Star
and Force
Wars.
Awakens, right?
Yeah.
They're essentially just remakes of the first movies. They're safe, enjoyable remakes that are just kind of mindless fun, right?
Yeah.
In the second movie, you bring in a new director who makes more artistic films, who's more intense, and they make a movie that pushes the story forward in a way that a lot of people don't like, but changes the nature of the entire story, right? And then in the third movie, you bring the director from the from Jurassic World slash Force Awakens back to deliver a movie that is just like crowd pleasing, so that nobody is as mad at this one as they were with Fallen Kingdom and Last Jedi, and they turn in something that's so like forgettable and lame that like everybody just walks away indifferent and like who cares about Star Wars anymore? You know, like who cares about Jurassic World anymore? Like it's so disappointing, man. So disappointing to see how it all played out.
Yeah, you're on point, man. Like, I just, I was disappointed when I walked out. I was like, wow, this is how the movie ends. This is what we got. You know, hey, that fight between the T Rex and the whatever the fucking dinosaur is and the other dinosaur, yeah, that was cool.
Okay,
But
wait.
like,
Let's talk about that though. No, okay. I'm glad you brought that up because like I really get the feeling that like nobody really wanted to make this movie that much. Like everybody was just kind of over it, you know, like going into this. Because yeah, like let's talk about that fucking final fight. I got shit to say about that final fight. Okay, the first big problem with it, right? The first big problem with it is that you bring back all these characters from the new series, from the old series, right? And you put them in a place where and you put them in stories where they almost never deal with dinosaurs except for like a one-off like horror scene or a one-off suspense scene. The dinosaurs are really just kind of like, you know, sideways to the locust plot and shit. And then you have the big climactic action scene, dude. The big climax to 6 movies, right? 2 generations of cast. And finally, you have a situation where all the dinosaurs and all the people are in one location, you know, and then all of a sudden you got the T-Rex and the Giga. They're about to fight each other, and at some point, dude, Alan Grant turns over to Chris Pratt and goes, "This isn't about us." This is not, and he's right. Like nothing about that conflict has anything to do with any of our main fucking characters. And that's wild, dude. That's a bad call to have your big climactic action scene literally not have anything to do with any of your characters is bad enough. The fact that he turns around and says that like to the camera, you know, it's like, oh yeah, this big fucking action scene, it doesn't really affect us. We need to get to that fucking helicopter. And then what's so hilarious is that they go to the helicopter and they leave. The main characters are left, and we still see the fight that we know has literally so they're gone. You know, and then the fight is so stupid because okay, the fight was so stupid because you had the Therizinosaurus, right? The blind dinosaur who has this probably the best scene of one of the best scenes of the movie when like it's like looking for Claire and it's blind, you know, like Colin Trevorrow. This is a good, you know what? This is more evidence that Colin Trevorrow does not understand his own movies because this guy before the movie came out said, "Oh yeah, we have the Giganotosaurus. He's like the Joker. He's like the Joker of Jurassic World." No, motherfucker! Like the Therizinosaurus, the blind dinosaur who doesn't even eat meat but kills the deer anyways, so that it can eat the leaves that it's below it. Like that's what the Joker does. That is what the Joker is, an agent of chaos. If the Joker was a dinosaur, and he didn't eat meat, he would just kill kill something to eat the plant below it. That is what he would do, right?
right.
And then at the end of the movie, so yeah, so clearly Trevorrow doesn't even fucking understand his own fucking shit, right? So we have like the best dinosaur scene, one of the best dinosaur scenes in the movie, and then you bring him back, right? Like you bring him back at the end, and what does he do? He just stands there with his claws out. That's it. He just has his little claws out, and the T Rex pushes the Giga into it. Like that's all it does. It's so lame. It's an environmental combat like mechanic. Ah, so stupid.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry.
I
I'm
just,
ranting.
I'm just thinking about like we were so excited for this. Like
Right?
we were watching the trailers. We're like, wow, like this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. I keep saying that,
Yeah.
and then this is what we got. Like, come on, man. Like,
Remember when we saw that shot of like all those like flying things coming out of the barn, and we're like, oh, those are like tiny little pterodactyls or something. Like,
yeah,
no, it's giant grasshoppers. So dude, like, could you, like, if they would have said in the trailers, like, we found this locust, like nobody would have seen that movie. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted to, but they left it out of the trailers completely because they knew it was stupid. They knew it was a stupid
They're
idea.
like trying to cover up everything. False advertisement, man.
It
Just
really
trying.
feels that way, man. It
Yeah.
really feels that way. You know, I will say this now, and there are. I did watch the extended cut. It's a better movie. It is a much better movie. I'll give you like that. That is the thing, you know. But it's a much longer movie, and it's way too fucking long. Like by the time I watched it like a few days ago, like I was like ready for that movie to end. And the worst part is that the majority of the changes, almost all of the changes, are are Malta and before that. So the last half of the movie, the worst half of the movie,
Mhm.
is pretty much exactly the same as the theater version. So it was kind of disappointing for me to see that like I was hoping that a lot of the fixes were going to happen in the second half of the movie. And don't get me wrong, the fixes really fixed the first half. The first half is way better now than it was in the theatrical. But like but yeah, like it's just like little tiny fixes and shit. Like just scenes are allowed to breathe more, you have more character moments and shit like that. But what was so like sad to me, like rewatching it, was that like I was hoping that the new cut would fix something, but like ultimately I was like, but it's not gonna fix everything. Because at the end of the day, it's still gonna have the locusts. And that's always gonna be like this movie's weakest fucking like the Achilles heel, you know?
Yeah, it's no matter what you do to add some stuff in, it's never gonna fix the main story of the
Yeah.
film.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, with us, like, when we are about to make a film, when we write a script, we're trying to make it consistent. We're trying to make sure that this is the story we want to tell. This is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna have some side plot that is there that looks cooler than what
Mm-hmm.
our main story is, because this is comparing it to Dominion. Like, the locust is the main story, whereas the dinosaurs are the side plot.
Yeah.
Where we want the dinosaur side plot more than we do the locust story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why with us, that's when we were like, no, we don't need no side story. We need a main story, man. Like,
Yeah.
this is a movie. Like, this is not a video game. Where
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
it's like if you want to go and like do a side quest, go. Yeah, you can do the side quest. You have a lot of time to do that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
You got
saying?
the
Like,
post game. You got the post game there.
yeah,
Go do the locust side quest. Side quest. Yeah.
yeah. It's just that's the thing of that. I think a lot of filmmakers fail to understand is like when you add side stuff to your movie, it takes away from the film,
Main.
because it could be worse, but it could be good. If it's
Yeah.
really good, if it's better than what you're giving us in this main story, then we're just like, wow, we're so disappointed, man. We want to see more of that. you know?
Yeah. And if you are gonna have side shit there, you at least wanted to connect on a character basis, on a thematic basis. What do the bugs have to do with the dinosaurs? Like in any way whatsoever? They're completely
Exactly.
unrelated things. Now, I'm glad you mentioned the fact that we're both writers here, because I don't know about you, but like I spend a long my writing process is a lot of time thinking about it, and then once I have it figured out, like I'll sit down and write it. But for me, I know when I know when I'm ready to write a movie, when I know how I want to end it. Like when I know I like to have my movies, I like my movies to have strong endings that like leave an impact, that mean something, that fuck with your head a little bit, you know? So when I'm sitting there and I'm writing, I'm just like, I can't fucking wait to write the ending, dude. I can't fucking wait. And like as I'm writing, I'm putting in stuff in the script that builds up that ending, because like in my head, if I don't have a killer ending, I'm not writing it, you know? So like I get so excited to like end the story, because I like to make big endings, you know? I like big emotional fucking cathartic endings that also fuck with your head and make you think about shit, and make you reconsider stuff. So to me, And I imagine that's the same for you, right? I imagine you get stoked to write that big final
Dude,
action fucking scene and the big final kill and shit, right?
dude, like, dude, you, dude, I'm telling you, man, like, especially when I write short films, man, I get straight to the point, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
literally, like, like we work together,
Mhm.
like I'm building up, but at the same time, I want to get to that part, like,
Yeah, but
we're
you get
excited.
excited for it, right?
Yeah, I get excited for it. Like, dude, you see me cover in blood? Like, come on, man. That
Yeah,
that tells you a lot about me. Like, getting excited for something, man. Like, when
right,
you're
right.
putting passion into a final scene and showing like you're passionate, you'll do whatever it takes to do it. Like, that's just showing like, hey, you actually care about not only this movie, but about this ending you're gonna share with everyone.
Mhm.
That's just something that, that's definitely same for me, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So keep that in mind. Right. So you understand that like I can't fucking wait for everyone to like see how it ends. That sort of feeling,
The
you know?
twist, everything.
Yeah, the twist, the big reveal, the all that big shit, you know? So imagine you're writing this script and you get to the end and you realize that the ending you have has nothing to do with your characters, dude.
Mhm.
Like to me, I really just like I hate to like read a lot of cynicism and shit, but it just seems like how lazy of a writer are you that you spent like the extended cut is 160 minutes, so the script was probably like 170 pages long, around there, right?
Fuck.
So in one and all the time that it took you to write 170 pages, you and no time at no time did you come up with a better ending than like, oh yeah, and then the dinosaurs fight, and that really doesn't have anything to do with the story. But if I just have like one of the characters say it, that's okay, right? Like it's such a passionless, like fucking throwaway of an ending that I felt kind of offended by it, you know? Like the fact that, I mean, say what you will about Jurassic World, it builds up to that final ending really well. I could feel Colin Trevorrow super stoked to end that movie because he ends it, he directs it, he writes it well, you know. But he comes back for this and he's got nothing. He's got, oh yeah, the dinosaurs fight. Whatever. And then they all get along at the end. Whatever, the end. You know, like it's like so.
I think it's because he wasn't there for the second one.
Mhm.
So I feel like if you're like, I'm not saying that I would do it, but if say like he's a director, he's a writer, and he wasn't signed up for the second one, I don't know, maybe he fell off. Maybe he was just like, oh, I'm not part of the second one. All right, whatever. Fuck it. And then he
No,
comes
no.
for the third
Well,
one.
well, the thing is, originally J.A. Bayona was gonna direct Jurassic World. This trilogy was originally supposed to be all three of them directed by J.A. Bayona. Probably he would have had more control over the writing too. But what happened was that J.A. Bayona really wanted to make a Monster Calls, and Jurassic World conflicted with it, and he chose to go with his heart and made a Monster Calls, which was a great choice because that movie's fucking fantastic. It's
Yeah.
one of the, one of the best children's dramas made in the last decade, easily. And so he came back with Fallen Kingdom, and keep in mind, Trevorrow, he was supposed to direct episode 9 originally. So there's even more connections between the Star Wars trilogy and the Jurassic World trilogy than
Yeah.
there, it's in the subtext and in the surface. But what I think happened was, rewatching, there's always been this weird subtext of like anti-studio rhetoric in Jurassic World and in Dominion. Like with in Jurassic World, the Indominus Rex is like a commentary on, keep it's essentially a commentary on the Jurassic World movie itself. It's a reboot. It's this monster that's nowhere near as cool as the original, and nobody can control it.
Mhm.
So it has that like anti-reboot, anti-corporate edge to it. It's almost gone in Fallen Kingdom because J.A. Bayona is a better director and he's able to focus more. But I noticed that it comes back here a little bit towards the end. And I really think what happened was because in the scene, like the whole point of that scene is like Ian Malcolm is being let go, and Ian Malcolm feels like he got played because he knew he was doing like a bad thing, but he tried his best with it. And I think that was how he felt about the Star Wars movie he never got made. Because I don't know if you know about the script that he wrote, but it got leaked and it's such a much better script. It would have been a fucking great finale to the whole trilogy, to the all
Mhm.
the Star Wars movies if they gone with that. So he actually had some fucking killer ass ideas for how to end that franchise. But then Disney said no. They went with J.J. Abrams and made a much safer, much more boring movie. And I think he was salty about that. And I think it comes through at the end where Ian Malcolm gets fired and he just fucking, like talks hella shit to the Tim Cook character and stuff. But what I think happened was like I think J.A. Bayona's heart was in it for Jurassic World, but then it got taken away from him, right?
Mhm.
So then Trevorrow takes it over and he makes a likable movie. I still like Jurassic World. I think it's a fun movie. Um, and what happened is Bayona, comes back and he's able to make Fallen Kingdom, but it's not what he envisioned, right? It's not the story he told. It's the story that Trevorrow set up, and now he has to inherit it. And I think if Trevorrow was more involved in the trilogy, that script would have been a lot stronger. He would have demanded more a better film and all that. But he made the best movie he could with the script he had. And I think that's why he couldn't come. He didn't want to come back because like, why would you want to follow something up like Fallen Kingdom? Like especially if you weren't able to control where things led up before that. Like I don't think Bayona would have ever done the clone plot line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah. So
clone. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's the whole thing. But like what I'm saying is, I really wish we lived in the world where this was J.A. Bayona's trilogy. I think we would have gotten a fucking insane, fucking intense horror as fuck trilogy if J.A. Bayona was able to have control over this.
Yeah, dude, it's unfortunate, man. Like I always say this, like every movie has a story to it.
Mm-hmm.
Every trilogy has a story, every franchise has a story to it. And this is the story, man. This is what we get, and that's unfortunate that we have to tell stories like this because, hopefully people will learn from these
Mm-hmm.
stories that were in these things that were made and the decisions that were made. Hopefully people will learn from that in the
Yeah.
future when they make a movie and they're like, if they make their own say someone make their own original trilogy and it build up on something and the last movie like is about to be great and it's about to land. Hopefully it does land and those people actually learn from these previous trilogies,
Yeah.
when those didn't land. So hopefully these stories will be told to other filmmakers so they don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so, man. I hope so because I don't want to expand this too much, but I think the Jurassic World trilogy and the Star Wars Disney trilogy are such like cautionary tales, each of them in their own way. You know, I think the Star Wars trilogy is a cautionary tale in having a plan and knowing what story you want to tell before you take on this big endeavor.
Yeah.
And I think with the Jurassic World, like the cautionary trilogy is a lack of directorial vision, a lack of and not just that, but I hate to say this as somebody who I think you agree with me. Generally, we want directors to have control over their movies, but I think when it comes to blockbusters, those are much more studio projects and shit like that. I think this is a good example of a director who doesn't have enough people telling him no with Colin Trevorrow. I think Spielberg was a little too protective of Colin Trevorrow. Um, I think he should have gotten more pushback because I will never understand how the Locust subplot made it onto
Mhm.
this movie, dude. I'm never gonna understand how a studio read that in the script and said, "Hey, what's up, Scream Rat?"
Hey, Screenrad.
Yeah, it said, "Yeah, let's put Locust in this movie." That's a great fucking idea. I'll never understand that, dude. I'll never get that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Uh, it's just there's a lot movies like trilogies like Scream, for example.
Yeah.
Scream was originally a trilogy. They're supposed to end it on Scream 3,
Hmm.
and apparently a lot of people didn't like Scream 3 and how it played out. So they're like, oh fuck, this is how we end it. Now let's go make more. And then they
Yeah.
make support
Well,
5. Just now they're making a new trilogy of Scream, and hopefully it lives up to the potential what the original trilogy had,
yeah.
and hopefully it plays out well. Who knows? We'll see. And
Mhm.
Halloween as well. Halloween Ends coming up. It's now I'm starting to be nervous, man. I'm just, man, after seeing Jurassic Star Wars, Jurassic World, Dominion, all that, I'm like, fuck, dude. What are these people gonna do with this? Like,
Yeah,
fuck.
well, unfortunately, those are smaller movies, man. So maybe the directors will have more control over that shit. But yeah, that's the thing, dude. Like one thing that I say on these people hate cinema a lot is we as an audience created this environment where all we have is like reboots and remakes. That's on us. We created
Yeah,
that by
yeah,
supporting, you know. And I think a consequence of that is directors and writers are directors and writers. They're artists. They have shit they want to say. They have stories they want to tell. And I think as long as we live in this constant struggle between artists who want to tell their stories and being limited by what stories they can tell, by what franchises they're allowed to work in, we're gonna get Star Wars Disney trilogies. We're gonna get the Jurassic World trilogies because ultimately we took away a lot of directors' abilities to just tell the stories they want to tell.
mhm,
And the big fix here, dude, the big fix here ultimately is to stop like stop the reboots, stop the remakes, let people tell their fucking stories. Yeah, we'll remake shit. We'll make the comic book stuff. We'll make all that big franchise shit, but we also got to balance that out at some point
yeah,
by just letting people like I just showed Lindsay Mad Max Fury Road yesterday because I just finished reading the book about it, and she doesn't like action movies, but she really enjoyed it. She was really amazed by it. And reading the book, like, you understand that the reason why Fury Road is the way it is, why it's this legendary movie, is because George Miller was allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and that has very mixed results. But George Miller spent 40 years thinking about that movie. He had the whole movie in his head, set frame by frame. You know, and all that shit. It was a passion project and all that. And we need more Fury Roads. We need more of that. Oh, shit.
yeah. Because the thing about directors and writers, filmmakers, their worst fear is not having control of their film
Right.
and their vision and their story. Because a lot of times, if you're working with the studio, they're interfere and they'll change things. If
Hmm.
you have an investor invest in your film, they're gonna want a certain thing happen in your film, so you have to change some things up just to please your investor.
Right.
That's why a lot of filmmakers self-finance. Like they
Hmm. That's what
come
I
out
do,
there.
man. I don't want.
Yeah,
I pay for my own shit because I don't want anybody telling me.
yeah.
I think I'm good at keeping my ego in check. So hopefully that's never been a limitation for me. Hello?
Hold on, I'm breaking up. I'm breaking up.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, while Dom was figuring that out, I'll go ahead and just plug my shit one more time. Go to check out Pop Counterculture Media, my YouTube channel. I do a series of YouTube videos called These People Hate Cinema, where I essentially just make fun of toxic nerd rage, man baby fanboy shit. And I have a lot of fun with it. I like to think that I provide a pretty entertaining show, but uh yeah, yeah, they need to let exactly Scream Rad. Thank you for saying that. We need to let creators create what they want to create. Are you there, Dom?
Hello?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
we're
Hello.
back. Yeah, okay,
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay.
cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. You're saying oh yeah, yeah, self finance. So we were talking about, you like us filmmakers, we want to control our film. That's why, if I don't know if you know him, but there's a filmmaker. He goes by Dustin Ferguson.
Hmm.
He makes these B horror films, man. He makes a lot of them, and he
Okay.
loves it. He loves making those films, and he loves telling stories within those films. And there's a bunch of people that are critics that criticize his film and talk shit and bash him and, just being dickheads pretty much.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't listen. He does what he wants. He has control over what he wants and he does it and he enjoys it and he has fun with it.
Yeah.
People watch it. There's people who watch his film. So
Yeah.
that's something that I preach to other filmmakers. I say, hey, like, you know, do what you want. Like, don't
Yeah.
whatever you do, don't listen to those stupid ass critics like Siskel and Ebert. Don't
Mhm.
listen to those fucking guys, because like,
Yeah, 'cause I mean, let's face it, like, if you're like that's not the fucking audience for this, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like know your audience and make something for them. And it helps if you yourself are the audience and you're making something you would like to see, you know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mentioned before we started talking about Dominion, we were talking about Friday 13th, and I mentioned fan films, and I always preach to those people as well that like they're not filmmakers. A lot of them are not filmmakers, right? Like they just want to make a movie. They got
Yeah.
a bunch of friends, they got together, and it's like, hey, do you want to make a fan film of Friday 13th? They're all like, yeah, yeah, let's do it. Put some money in. Let's go make this movie. What do you got? I just got my Android and a stabilizer. That's it. I mean, that's all I got.
Figure
And
it
they're
out.
like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let's do this. And then they go shoot it.
Yeah.
And they all
No,
get together, they shoot it, and they made something, right? And they did what they
yeah.
can to do it. And I appreciate
Mhm.
that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a friend from high school reach out to me a few weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, man, like I got some questions. I want to get into filmmaking." And I said, "Oh, great, dude!" He's like, "Yeah, so I want to get your opinion on these cameras right here." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, dude. I know a little bit about cameras." And he says he's shooting between an Arri Alexa and a Panasonic cinema camera. Like, he's never made a movie. He's never made anything video wise. It's so wild to me, and I get it. Like as a musician, as you know, in guitar, it's called gear acquisition syndrome, where you can't stop buying shit. Like you
Hmm.
just buy pedals and guitars and amps, like you just because you can, because you think it's gonna make you a better artist, but ultimately you're just buying shit, Like I think and I get it because a lot of like the adventure of starting a new hobby is getting to buy, finally having something to spend all your free money on, you know?
Hmm.
So I get the impulse to like want to buy a fucking cinema camera, but like if you've never made anything before, if you've never ever, if you literally just came up with an idea and you want to go shoot it, like, and it was so funny because I could tell he was disappointed when I told him this, but I was like, hey man, honestly, I said you got a smartphone, right? I was like, yeah, you got a perfectly fine camera to start out with, you know. And I told him, and he said, "Yeah, but like, what about this?" What I was like, dude, do you like? It's an 8K camera. Do you have any? It's an 8K RAW, 14-bit 8K RAW, fucking image coming out of that, right? Do you have like the fucking right computers and servers to do? Like, you don't. Like, you know what I mean? And not just that, but you're just talking about the camera. If you're gonna take full advantage of a cinema camera, you're gonna need some cinema prime lenses, and that's like $10,000 to rent for a week. you know,
Yeah.
like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, it's so wild to me, like how like people literally like never fucking made a movie before and just want to buy an Ari Alexa. Like, that's not gonna make your movie better, dude. Like, it's so
Yeah.
wild.
And he doesn't know what he's doing with the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, but
so,
no, but
I
I
mean,
told him,
uh,
like, like, being a good cinematography, yeah, it helps to have high resolution. It helps to have color depth, but like ultimately the basics of a good image is lighting and composition. Learn how to make a pretty image, learn how to make a good looking shot. And you don't just learn how to do it by placing your camera somewhere and making the lighting cool, and then get into the crazy shit. But focus on that first, you know?
yeah. Yeah. It's good advice because I know some people that are wanting to do film and, some people they want to do fan films. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like, you know, they asked me the same thing, like, "Oh, which camera should I buy? I want to buy the red camera. I want to get this." I'm like, "No, dude, are you kidding me? Hold
Wild,
up,
dude.
hold up, hold up."
Yeah.
And I'll tell them the same thing, like, what type of phone you have? And they say, "Oh, I have the iPhone 18, whatever, the
That's great.
newest one that came out." And I was like, "Dude, like, do you not understand that you have it in your pocket?
Yeah.
It's in your pocket, man.
Mhm.
Just take it out, and it's right there.
Yeah,
You
I think it's because, like, you know, a lot of people have this image of a director that they're trying to live up to, and that image is the big fucking giant camera with the matte box and the with the follow focus and the giant lens, and
Yeah,
you know, a guy with sunglasses and a hat pointing at something while talking to an actor. You know, that's what they're trying to live up to.
yeah.
But it's like it's not about that though. It's literally just about picking up your camera and getting an idea, working it out with your friends, and shooting the fucking thing. You know?
Look at, Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
did
That's how it started
Clerks.
out. Yeah.
Like, he didn't have the best, like, quality and image and all that,
Mhm.
and he shot in black and white, like, and it was the '90s, like, it was all about color.
He
So
he
it's like
spent he spent 30,000 90 90 90s American dollars to make that movie. Do you like? I feel like people really don't appreciate like how like you have to like buy apps to make your camera look as shitty as a fucking independent movie from the 90s. Okay, like this right here, this is fucking the kind of camera that Kevin Smith wish he had when he was making Clerks, you
yeah.
know? And you have that in your phone and people just kind of tend to forget that, you know?
Yeah, because they always look at cameras in movies and they're like, "Wow," because I think it's because they're like, "Oh, that looks so cool. I wanna use it." You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I wanna get behind of that camera. I don't wanna get behind this small ass camera that I have in my
Yeah,
pocket. I
exactly.
feel like an unprofessional. Like, what the fuck? It feels like I'm just someone just pulling out, making a video, like, an unprofessional. It's like, well, no, like, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You might, at first, you may not have a lot of money to spend, and that's okay. Look at, like I said, Kevin Smith. He didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of money. $30,000 may sound a lot, but it's really not a lot. That's like no budget slash micro budget type of film,
Yeah.
you know. And so just start off small and work your way up, you know.
There
And
are
that's all
people
that matters.
yeah, there are people in this there are people who get shit put on film festivals whose movies you can see on Amazon and shit and Netflix who literally just like had no money, had $0, had no budget,
Nada.
and, and were able to make a small little independent movie of people talking about their problems in rooms, and they were able to write it well and cut it well and get good actors, and that's all it took, you know. Like it's filmmaking is about stories, it's about telling stories, it's about emotions. You don't need the fucking big old fancy equipment to do that shit, you know.
Dude, like I said, look up Dustin Ferguson, like, and the people in the chat too. Look up Dustin Ferguson, like, look at the stuff he shot. Like he shot on his phone.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his films, he had stars, like horror stars in it. Like he had a Mel Novak from the Bruce Lee movies. He had like a
Mhm.
bunch of people, and he shot on his iPhone or his Android, whatever he was using, and that was it, man.
Yeah.
And he went to the distributor. The distributor picked it up. The movie was distributed on Walmart and DVD. It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon. It's on all platforms, and he's making money from it, and he's investing that money back into his films.
And you know
And
what? A
he's
lot of people shit on that, but you know what? That's so snobby to me because that's a working director. That is
Yeah,
a guy who is making the movies he wants to make his way, and they find an audience, and people can hate all they fucking want. That guy's living the fucking dream. He's doing what
he
I wish
is.
I was doing. You know, like I would
Yeah.
kill. I would if one of my movies went straight to fucking DVD and you could buy it on the shelf of Dollar General. I would be fucking stoked, dude. Are you shitting me? That'd be fucking great. Fuck you. That's an achievement, man.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like I watch I look, and there's people on YouTube that discuss it about him, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, another Dustin Ferguson movie.
Like,
Oh my god,
where's your fucking movie, dude?
where's
Where's
your
your movie?
movie?"
I don't see your movie at fucking Dollar General next to the fucking Snickers bar.
Oh man, these
I
people,
don't
man,
know, man.
they'll do anything to tear people down. So Screen Rant says, "I want to do fan films."
You know what? Honestly, like I've been playing with this idea because I'm starting to get a filmmaking team together, and I just have this idea like it would be cool to have like a little operation where we fund fan films, but for like stuff that doesn't have a big fucking giant audience, you know? Like I'm a big fan of the TV show The Leftovers. That has maybe like 10,000 people who like that show. in the US alone, right? But I have a really cool idea for a fan film in that universe. And you know, it's not going to get me fucking Batman fan film views, but I think it'd be cool to do that, you know?
Yeah, it's Indiegogo, Kickstarter, big like platform crowdfunding
Mhm.
platforms that will help you out because there's fan bases like Friday 13th, Halloween has a fan base, so you just reach out to those communities and say, "Hey, I'm doing a fan film. Would you like to invest your money into this? Like here's the perks, here's where you're going to get out of it." Like you do all that, and by the way, it's a lot of work. Like you got to be
Yeah.
every single day you got to be promoting your Indiegogo or your Kickstarter so you can get the money raised. But you can, like I said, self finance. That's another way of doing it.
The
Just
slow way.
the slow way. Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
time, but you'll get there. It's not
Mhm.
impossible. I know a guy who raised $100,000 self finance, and it took him 5 years to raise the money.
Mhm.
So yeah, it took a little bit, but he got there, right? So he
Yeah.
got to make his movie, you know?
Hey, nothing good comes easy, man. Everything takes
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just if it needs to be that way, let it be that way. You get there. You want to have an investor? Yeah, go reach out to an investor. You know how to do it? Do it, you know? There's
Mhm.
no you could there's different ways to get money. There's different
Yeah.
ways to raise your money and there's different options and you'll get that. You'll get there.
Right.
So yeah, dude, Screen Rad, I'll let to see what you do with fan films. He wants to do an urban legend fan film
See,
from
that's
the
like
90s.
shit like that, dude. Like little cult fan bases like that don't get served up very well. That's what I think needs to be represented more, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Screen Rad says, I hear filmmakers say that we literally have a camera to use to shoot a movie in our phone. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, we shot tables water under the bridge on the phone.
literally.
Yeah.
It was like, I remember like we were passing the phone to each other, like just trying to get a shot. And it's like but it was easy because we didn't have to gently pass it to one another slowly. Like we could just fast pass it. Obviously, we still got to be careful. We didn't want to
Yeah.
drop it in the water or anything, but it was fast. Like we were able to like take that camera, go over here and get that shot.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
we
was
we
just
shot we shot the whole thing in like what, 2 days? 2.5 days?
yeah, 2.5 days, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm still editing it. I'm gonna get that out there for
Yeah.
everyone to see, man. It's beauty, man. It's beauty. We use blood like fake blood. It's not like corn syrup
Hollywood
because
blood.
that's
Oh, not
well,
corn
yeah,
syrup blood, but it looked good.
yeah, look good, and the yellow and red comes together really nicely because I was wearing a yellow shirt and a
Mhm.
lot of blood get a stain on my shirt, but it looked
That's the
good
waffle
because it
look. Yeah.
yeah the watching and So, but yeah, that was a fun time. Hey, making films is fun, man. Like that's
Yeah.
all it is, man. I love being on set. I love working with others. Like it's a fun time. Like it just think about it. You're making something. You're
Yeah.
doing something.
Mhm.
You're taking your time out of the day to make something great that you feel like you're gonna, you know, something you want to make. Or if you're a
Mhm.
DP, you want to help make it. Because technically, everyone that helps make a movie that's their movie too, you
Yeah.
know? Because it's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, mhm,
the auteur theory is great for film criticism, but it's not how
the
that's not how making
auteur
a movie
theory,
works.
bro."
Yeah. You say fuck the auteur theory?
Yeah.
I like film criticism, so I like the auteur theory for film criticism, but that's not how movies work, you know? That's
No,
not how
it's
they're actually made.
I just feel like whoever came up with that was, not thinking about others, like, they're selfish. Like, they're
Yeah.
just like, "Hey, like, I did it. I made this movie,
Well,
nobody
no,
else."
they it came from film criticism because, like, it was just difficult to talk about who is responsible for what. So they were like, "Well, let's just say the director is like the head of the vision. Like it's their vision. So let's just when we talk about film criticism, let's call it their movie." You know, but like I said, it's like like the whole everything is political thing. Like it's an academic idea. It's not really meant for like everyday use. Like the whole idea that everything is political, like even Pac-Man is political. Like, no, yeah, that's true in the academic sense when you're in college and
Mhm.
talking about analysis and shit. But in the real world, that doesn't really mean fuck all, you know?
Yeah, I can see critics I can definitely see critics doing that. Like they're like,
Yeah,
"Hey, it's this guy's movie.
yeah,
You know, this is the guy who made all of it." And I was like, "No,
hmm
not really."
yeah,
Yeah, Screen Rad. He says, "I'd rather use the phone. Spending thousands of dollars on an expensive camera is crazy. Maybe one day, but for now, I just want to use my phone." That's what we're talking about. Like, just
yeah,
use what you have. Like, don't if you
yeah.
have something to use it. Don't like go out of your way to buy an expensive camera, like $10,000 for rent on a red camera or something. Like, just
Yeah.
think about it. Like, why would you want to waste all that money on something when you
That's
have something
blood,
already?
that's makeup, that's costumes, that's
Yeah.
lighting, you know, and you're doing that all just so you can like take a picture. It's just for like to have pictures taken with it, basically, you know.
Yeah. Man, dude. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So you want to start wrapping it up?
Yeah, dude, let's wrap it up, man. Yeah, that
Okay.
was a
So
good.
so I,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, sorry.
oh, that was a good comeback episode for sure.
Yeah, it was a comeback episode. We took a break for a while. Water had to do things
Deal with
and
some
he was
shit.
busy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was busy. So I was doing my thing for a little bit on my own, but now he's back. We're
Yeah.
going back on this and hopefully I join one of your episodes on these
Oh,
people hate
oh, I would love
cinema.
to have you. Yeah, no, I would love to have you on. You want to come on Monday?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Monday
Okay.
sounds
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah. I'll send
I
you the
want to
link for sure.
I want to talk about because I know you mainly do the quartering and the British guy. I want to
Mhm.
show you these other people too that talk about movies and they also hate it. They
Okay.
also hate
Yeah.
movies, so cinema.
Oh, I'm
So I guess
down.
you could say so. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. I'm down.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to ask you before we go.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
there's gonna be more Jurassic movies after this. It's been announced already. It's not been like a big official thing, but they're already working on it, right?
yeah.
Let's say you got a call by Spielberg one day and said, "All right, we want to hear your pitch for where to take it next." Where would you go?
Hmm. Uh. Dang, and this is Spielberg. Whew.
Yeah. I heard you've been
uh.
talking shit on your podcast, Tom.
That's, I heard. Those are my movies too, you know. I fucking helped on those. Um, okay, so Spielberg called me and say, "Hey, what's your pitch for another one?" I say, "Do a prequel
Uh-huh.
to Jurassic Park."
Okay.
Um, because I would rather I would rather have a Jurassic Park, a new Jurassic Park would take place in prehistoric times. So we get to see all the dinosaurs, the dinosaurs that we know from the movies.
Mhm.
Not the random T Rexes, like
That's
the
how
T.
the extended cut opens up.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to see. Like, I want to see more of that, where it's like
Mhm.
it's just the dinosaurs. Yeah, you can have. I don't know if cavemans are considered to be around that time, but
Yeah.
you can change things up in history and be like, yeah, cavemen were there during that time. And you can follow the story of the cavemen and their dealings with dinosaurs and like how they dealt with dinosaurs and how like you can show them hunting
Mhm.
like mammoths, like freaking
Pet
like T-Rex,
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor. Yeah, you're just showing all the dinosaurs they go out and hunt and they eat them, for dinner.
Mhm.
That's my pitch to Spielberg is follow these cavemen during the prehistoric times.
Yeah. I would love to see like a Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes type of reboot, kind of like a little darker, you know. I would make a direct sequel to Dominion where it's like 5 or 10 years later, like Jurassic Park the book came out when genetic modification was a big hot topic in science, and
Mhm.
these days the big hot topic in science is climate change, right? So I think it would be interesting because back in the Jurassic and Triassic Cretaceous period, the earth was a lot hotter. It was a lot hotter than it is today. So I think it would be cool that while the planet is getting hotter and it's harder for humanity to survive, the dinosaurs are adapting to the new environment, to the new atmosphere, right? And they're adapting to it so much that they actually instead of being their genetically modified Jurassic versions, they evolve back to what they were in nature. their bodies just go back to what they were back 65 million years ago instead of when they got cloned, right?
Yeah.
And the whole movie would be like an ironic like reversal where it's about like humanity trying to build a facility with walls around it to keep what's left of humanity safe until we figure out cloning, you know?
It's
Uh
like Jonah's Ark, kind of in a
yeah,
way.
kind of like but it's ironic, right? Because like in Jurassic Park in the first one, all the dinosaurs are behind electric fences so they don't eat the people, but now the people created a fence around them so the dinosaurs don't eat them. So
Yeah.
it's like a reversal of the whole situation, right? Because humanity is dying and dinosaurs are taking over, and like the whole movie would be about how they're trying to like build this network of cloning facilities, but every time they do, the dinosaurs just destroy everything, and it makes it impossible for humanity to like almost impossible for them to like clone themselves and shit, you know?
That would be interesting because when you brought up when they're destroying those facilities of cloning humans, I feel like the dinosaurs also have intelligence to them.
Mm-hmm.
So like they realize that humans are starting to clone themselves and they look at that as a spit in their face like, "Oh, you want to clone more humans just like you clone like." So they destroy those facilities because they don't want
Yeah,
no humans involved in their world, you know?
exactly.
So they're like, "Yeah, we just want to be ourselves, and be in this world by ourselves. We don't want you guys to be interfering with us because we know that you guys are gonna fucking kill us, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and there's so much you can do too. I mean, like all the velociraptors, like I like it would be great if like velociraptors became like the apex predator of the planet and they all start like being able to communicate with each other so they actually end up doing like intelligent shit, like
Yeah.
surrounding them, flanking them and shit like that, but on a huge scale for like entire cities and stuff like that, you know? Like like the Jurassic series is all about the sense of wonder of watching these dinosaurs exist, right? Well, what if we replace that sense of wonder of like what these cities look like as humanity is dead and we're replaced by dinosaurs who are thriving, like it's a different type of awe, but it's
Mhm.
more darker, more mature and shit. That's what I would do. That's what I
Yeah.
would love to do with that. If I had all the money in the world and I had the chance, I would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, I know this sounds crazy, but it'd be funny if like aliens came in and they're like and
Third
they're
one. That's the
that's the
third
third
one.
one and they try to take over the dinosaurs and like control them, but they can't, so they have to fight the dinosaurs in order to
Yeah.
take over the planet, just like the
And
dinosaurs.
it's the aliens and it's the xenomorphs.
The xenomorphs, yes.
Xenomorphs versus Jurassic Park, dude. Fuck
Yes.
yeah.
I would like to see the velociraptors fight the xenomorphs like head on. Just
Dude, that
like,
would be great. That would be honestly like that would be a fucking great horror action movie. Just that right there.
oh dude, they had to put Predator in there. They
Ah,
have to.
third act
Because
reveal. Third act reveal.
direct reveal, the three predators come in, they're trying to take trophies. And now
Yeah.
the xenomorphs and the dinosaurs have to work together to take down the predators because they're the most advanced species in the world or in the universe.
Shit, dude. Yeah, there's so many. I hope whatever they do next is a more organized and more passionate trilogy or whatever than what we got here for sure.
Yeah. I have a theory actually, because I'm glad we brought this up.
Hmm.
I have a theory because you know how at the end of Predator 2 they show all the skulls
Yeah.
and there's a dinosaur skull? I have a theory. I have a theory that it's in the same universe as Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
and those are the dinosaurs that the predators were hunting in the past. And now that the genetics are coming out and more dinosaurs are coming out into the main world,
Yeah.
now the predators are coming back. They're like, wait, what happened to the humans?
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh shit. They got really tall, dude.
it's like, oh shoot, here, oh okay, these are our new warriors now, these dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And then they fight the dinosaurs, and we see them fight the dinosaurs and the xenomorphs as well. It's like that would be cool.
We live in
Like,
the multiverse now, man. We live in the multiverse era of media. Who fucking knows what could happen?
yeah, bro, that would be fucking awesome. You
Yeah.
see, Screen Rant says, "Oh, that would be sick."
I'll be fucking sick of shit. Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, that's cool, man.
Hell
Like,
yeah,
that's
dude.
cool. Like, screw, like, let's screw all, screw all the criticism and all of that. We're just trying to have fun here now. Like,
And
let's go have fun, you know?
if Mad Max Fury Road proved anything, is that you can just have a movie that's nothing but car chases and explosions, and have it be fucking phenomenal.
Right.
All right, man. So I got to go ahead and take this phone call. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. So, yeah, this is our episode of Sinclair Remember Show. This is episode 7, Jurassic World Dominion talk and other talks as well. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Thank you, Screen Rat, for coming and the rest for coming. And we will see you all next time.
See you
Take
guys
care.
Saturday, same time.
Yep, same
Oh
time.
wait, Dom, what are we watching next week?
Oh, let's watch ah I don't know. I was too busy. Okay, hold on. Let me think about it a little bit.
Okay.
I'll just throw something out there, okay?
All right.
All right. Let's watch Waxwork.
Waxwork. I never even heard of that one. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, you'll love it, man. Let's do it.
All right. Cool.
All right. Everyone, have a nice day, nice night, wherever time zone you're from. We'll see you next time on Saturday. Same
Peace
time.
out, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.